I've just sent you.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambatv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
From the savannah to the Midland and the Atlantic, Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. Ambazonia rise.
Dear Ambazonians on the home front and diaspora.
Dear Ambazonia freedom fighters in the home front and in the diaspora.
The Ethics Commission of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is coming out to alert you that it is becoming more and more evident that the former British Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonians, will soon emerge as the newest nation in the world.
We are calling on all of us to start preparing to receive Ambazonia as parents prepare to receive their firstborn child. Malcolm X said, tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. We are already very educated, talented, and very rich in natural resources. Do all this guarantee a safe and prosperous Ambazonia? The answer is an emphatic no. Theodore Roosevelt said, to educate a person in the mind but not in morals is to educate a menace in society.
Ambazonians, It is time to start planning to restore our cultural and social values that characterize us as a people of good repute. Before our Republic to Cameroon invasion, we were respectful of each other, of the law, and of our culture. We earned our living through honest hard work, making clean money for ourselves.
Our values helped us to maximize the benefits of our natural resources as well as our human resources. Southern Cameroons were serene and clean, simply beautiful in spirit and in the physical. We all long for such a place to call home, and we can make it happen by God's grace.
Our local government areas and counties, are you prepared? Do you have an ethics commission in your local government areas, counties to serve as a moral compass for you? Do you have a copy of the Ambazonia Ethics Code and the Constitution?
All arms of government, do you have an ethics agency? Departments of DSS, HSS, Communications and IT, Education, DHACM, DFA and DEINR. Do you have ethics agency to serve as a moral compass for your departments?
Ambazonians, you need to know your rights by reading the Ethics Code and the Constitution.
Shame unethical behavior and reward good behavior in your communities. Hold leaders accountable. Be the watchdog of your communities and governments. See something, say something.
The church, you are the main research center of moral principles with the responsibility of moralizing the society. How effective are you outside the church building?
Maya Angelou said, when you know better, then you do better. Ambazonians watch ethics for an emerging Ambazonia every Friday at 10 p.m. Amba time.
Sir, sorry, please spell the badge. BA or NBA?
Exclusively on ABC Amba TV. Stay tuned.
The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is to draft. Draft and draft and draft. People of Ambazonia, draft.
Because the real discussion is there.
Why the war draft is a must now. Fellow Ambazonians, after 5 years of relentlessly fighting for the liberation of our homeland from the genocidal occupation of French Cameroon, it's very important that we remember why we are fighting. 21st, 1961, granted independence to the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. They did not expect that 61 years after, this territory will be forcefully annexed and colonized by a belligerent neighbor. It must be noted here that the territory of the Southern Cameroons had already attained self-government as early as 1954, a status we enjoyed up to 1972, when the state of West Cameroon, Southern Cameroons, was illegally annexed, overrun and occupied by French Cameroon. And because the Southern Cameroons within secure, internationally recognized boundaries, she had a functional police force under the direct command of the Prime Minister and head of government, including a mobile paramilitary wing that played the role of a territorial self-defense force. It was this vibrant territorial force that was illegally and surreptitiously disbanded by the Yaoundé regime in the mid-60s, when our nationalist leader and head of government of the Southern Cameroons, Bobe Augustin Ngom Dua, was overthrown by the creeping annexationist regime of Amadou Ahidjo. So as we enter another patriotic war draft and fundraiser for our violent restoration forces, we must remember that just as we restored Dr. Ndele's government on October 1st, 2017, we are also restoring our territorial self-defense force, now dubbed the Amazonian Restoration Forces, ARF. Charged with not only the defense of our country and our nation, but also with driving out for once the occupation forces of genocidal Cameroon. Taking part in the war draft for our Amazonian Restoration Forces is therefore a great patriotic duty that we must all embrace. As we speak, the country of Ukraine is under attack, with parts of her territory occupied by the Russians. We have seen how the Ukrainians have risen like one man to defend their territory, instituting a war draft that has prohibited men from the ages of 18 to 60 years of age from leaving the country. Not only are they not allowed to leave the country, but they're also compelled to take an active part in the defense of their country against the occupying forces of Russia. This is the same patriotic fervor that we expect from all Ambazonians now in fulfilling our sacred duty of defending and freeing the motherland from the genocidal grip of Cameroon's occupation forces. Thousands of our young men and women have risen since 2017, picking up arms and fighting the occupation forces to the death. We've lost thousands with many more injured, while thousands more are in the bushes fighting day and night to drive out the occupiers. It's therefore imperative that those of us, especially those in the diaspora, that are not confronting the enemy on the ground play our part and fulfill a sacred duty of drafting, raising the funds, and providing the logistics that our restoration forces need to resist the occupiers. Fellow Ambazonians, joining the draft and contributing generously is not a matter of choice for any Amazonia, but a sacred duty to oneself, family, and the nation. They say sacrifice makes gods of men, makes us sacred, so let us do our duty now. Our President, His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, and the Resource Mobilization Department will be visiting each and every county soon for another round of the draft. Based on the current geopolitical atmosphere, this is a time for us to empower our restoration fighters on the ground to achieve some of our key strategic and military goals, to once more prove to the world that we are ready to not only reclaim but to defend our country after liberation from any future aggression. By building a formidable, responsible, and credible self-defense force, Ambazonians will be proving to the world that we are a responsible state and ready to play a constructive role in the Gulf of Guinea. The rest of the world is watching and waiting to see how capable Ambazonians are in terms of establishing themselves as Africa's newest state. We must therefore make even greater sacrifices in our efforts to upgrade our valiant restoration forces as they lay their lives on the line to liberate Amazonia. As a footnote, we must remember that it costs between $3,000 to $5,000 to properly equip each restoration fighter to effectively engage the enemy. So as we look up to our boys on the ground, expecting results from them, we must first ask ourselves how far we've gone to empower them. We must first ask ourselves how much financial sacrifices we have made to provide them the means to fulfill their sacred duties. Fellow Ambazonians, this is the time for us to draft until we drop. That must be our slogan and rallying cry now. And along the way, we should be asking ourselves some critical questions. Are we still enjoying 3 square meals a day while our boys on the ground lack the basic gear they need to resist the occupiers? Are we still living a life of luxury and comfort while our brave restoration forces lack medical supplies at the front? Are we still throwing big birthday bashes while our restoration forces lack basic communications equipment to maximize their efforts? Are we still going on cruises
Okay, we
and
shouldn't ask them
expensive
for
vacations while our IDFs on the ground go without food and logistics? Are we still finding excuses not to make the necessary sacrifices in drafting big while our restoration forces lack the game-changing equipment that they so desperately need to bleed the enemy? On a daily basis, how much are we putting aside for our liberation, knowing that only through fierce resistance are we going to liberate our beloved country? Are we providing the federal government and the CIC the means to carry out some of the critical intelligence and other special operations across the national territory? Fellow Ambazonians, as we ponder these questions, we must remember that a goal that is not funded is nothing but a wish. And we must not let Ambazonia die as a wish, because we failed to fulfill our patriotic duties by making the great sacrifices befitting of a great people. Fellow Ambazonians, the war draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No great victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices. We are enough, so let's draft, draft, and draft until we drop. Our existence as a people depends on that.
This last report, just get it ready on your tab.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, and 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is, we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed, with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambatv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
Anyway, I remember. A whole 4 minutes. This can charge even if it's before paper 5. Please, there's one part you want. As I said, this one is already in the paper 5.
Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. Award 22 is finally out, and like a marathon, Ambazonians will kickstart it this week in Mezam County. The debut is Mezam. What's the strategic significance of that? A question with available and diversified answers. We hope to bring in all the tacticians ahead of Saturday's grand debut. Meanwhile, we will get into the inner cities to serve you with untold stories of Ambazonia with a special focus on Mezam. Conscription in the United States, commonly known as the draft, has been employed by the federal government of the United States in 6 conflicts: the American Revolutionary War, the American Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. Ambazonia is on its 3rd draft. While the colonial government escalates the carnage, the master calculation annihilate and take Ambazonian by force. President Sacco and his team reinforced the winning program, the draft. Could this be the last? What I mean is, could this just be the magic one, the draft that hits the US Straits to Boya? In tonight's Undaunted, we will try to envisage the nearest future in today's strategy. But first, let's get the prime headline.
Prime headline for today, July 12, 2023. Cho Ayaba again. Today we'll dissect what he has done this time around. We'll bring you report of police extorting from southern Cameroonian bikers working in La Republique du Cameroon. A report of Ambazonians paying higher for cooking gas more than La Republique du Cameroon is an untold story we will look at today. Major football finalists representing Ambazonians plays football in the mud. Dr. Mungwa's Liberation Weekly briefings comes up at 9 p.m. The topic for today is secret meetings with the enemy, the case of Sisiko Ayuk Tabe, Cho Ayaba Akwanga and Chris Anu. Ceremonious leadership, the case of Fon Muketes coming to America. And most importantly, all roads lead to Mezam County draft this Saturday, July 16th, 2022. We will be discussing why Mezam County needs you. Good evening and welcome to Undaunted once again this evening. Today we'll start with the Southern Cameroon bikers working and La Republique du Cameroon police eating and extorting money from them. The high unemployment rate can be said to be a strategy by the colonial La Republique du Cameroon government to increase the suffering of Southern Cameroonians. Unemployment has pushed these youths to engage in alternative means of livelihood. Commercial motorcycle riding is one of the ventures graduates in Ambazonia have adopted to make ends meet. Even those whose businesses are grounded as a result of the war declared by La Republique du Cameroon ruler on Ambazonians have equally embraced commercial bike riding as an option. Lately, it can't be denied that commercial bike riding is the highest employer of both the young and the old in southern Cameroon. The heavily deployed La Republique du Cameroon police to Ambazonia have now adopted an unholy attitude of taking by force from these bike riders. Let's pause for a while with these rhetorics. What causes a graduate with good grades to embrace commercial bike riding as a last resort? Bad governance is the obvious answer. Is it that the colonial administration in Amberland are not aware of the plans the policemen are inflicting, and they are also inflicting serious pains on commercial bike riders? Blood can only but run through their veins. This is where we begin the full briefings of Undaunted tonight. I am Onyi Okbala. Star Smart is here as always. Good evening, Star.
Good evening, Onyi. Well, the fate of commercial bike riders in Bamenda, main town of the Savannah region of southern Cameroon, is in the hands of the colonial La République du Cameroon police force. Fellow Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening. The police force in this part of southern Cameroon have adopted the attitude highway robbers just to squeeze out money from commercial bike riders. The La République du Cameroon policemen in Bamenda hide behind station cars and kiosks from the view of upcoming commercial bike riders. They will only jump out their hiding to bounce on the unfortunate bikers. Immediately, the bike rider is hijacked and pushed to a corner. At the corner, the bike is asked to pay 5,000 francs CFA, an equivalent to about $10 or of his money. Would he carry to the station where the sum will be multiplied by 5 if he doesn't pay them at the spot? The embarrassing part of this whole story is the fact that no colonial communique has been issued by the administration restricting bikes circulating on particular places. Commercial motorcycle riders are in a limbo as their fate lies in the hands of colonial police force that determines what these bikers will pay without any reason for doing so. A bike rider who preferred anonymity for fear explained to Undaunted his plight. He said, "What have we bikers riders done to this BS government? Imagine that the policemen will do to you what they want and there is nowhere you can go to make any complaints. The police now just arrest us anytime and anywhere, and all they are interested in is money. They, the police, even tell us that even God cannot free us, the bikers, from their hands." This is what a biker said to Undaunted.
Parting ways with the colonial Yaoundé regime is just about the best and only way left for southern Cameroonians to be free from the exploitation of these men. Worse still is the commercial bike riders in La République du Cameroon are not subjected to what their counterparts of Ambazonians are facing.
You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amba TV, the voice of Ambazonia.
You can't fool the people all the time. Cho Ayaba, these BR agents should know that the problem is Yaoundé, not Boyer. Obsessed and drunk with vomiting ambition, Cho Ayaba's U-turn is a big distraction at a time the struggle is well focused and piloted by the impeccable Commander-in-Chief Dr. Sako with all roads leading to Boyer. Who does Ayaba think he is to mortgage 8 million people? What makes him to be too full of himself without taking into cognizance his criminal track record that makes him redundant in this, of course, God-ordained struggle? It's sad that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yaoundé blood money is at work in this man and he cannot hide his treachery anymore. Cho Ayaba, of course, warlord, moneymonger, killer, destroyer, ransom collector, has shown his limitations so far as this liberation quest is concerned. He has been and remains irrelevant and seeking for such notice at the expense of 8 million lives. Over 40,000 souls perished, 500 villages burnt down, hundreds of thousands sent into exile as refugees, and many others will be an expensive joke.
His ADF is a gang of kidnappers for ransom and not freedom fighters. His ADF has specialized in killing, decapitating Ambazonian civilians and Ambazonian fighters and not the invaders. Ayaba Cho has never given any accountability for funds he has been collecting on behalf of the Ambazonian struggle for over 32 years. Made enough money for himself by signing asylum papers, Ayaba Cho has not achieved anything for Ambazonia for over 32 years, but has created more confusion for his personal benefit. Ayaba Cho does not believe in a free Ambazonia. As he himself says, the notion of Ambazonia is abstract. In his words, he successfully killed the following liberation fighters and counting, a lot of which include Akuma Simonik of Lebialem, Slisli of Muyenge, Godfather of Muyenge, General Mad Dog of Mbatu, General Ivo of Teke, Amba Queen of Baliyonga, General Koraman of Baliyonga, General Biebie of Guzang, General Chacha of Boyi, FM Isubu of Boyi, the Guzang Massacre, General King of Likumba, General Amigo of Bello, General Point of Wututu, General Wuzuzu, General Divine, Kamdan Fon of Boyi, General Wata Aaron Animbong, Wadras Florence Ayafo, burying of power plants in Kugwe, and killing of its traditional rulers and more.
According to Deacon Tatsang Wilfred, writing from Yaoundé Kandengi Principal Prison, he says, who does not know that Boyer is a symbol of this struggle? He says, shall we now swear by Bamenda instead of Boyer? Come sun, come rain, we shall make it to the foot of Mount Fako, and Boyer is the capital. He continues to say, to hell with Ayaba's treachery. There will be only one answer, and that is independence. Any other voices, options which our brothers and sisters happily took and remained in Nigeria when our forefathers left the House of Representatives in Enugu after declaring benevolent neutrality in Nigerian politics and got a quasi-independent southern Cameroon state that was created with headquarters in Boyer in 1954. We have declared benevolent neutrality in Cameroon politics, and enablers will not hold us bound. The destiny of a nation will not be determined by greedy men and women, Joe Ayaber and the likes, who see genocide and pretend that it is okay.
Those who have fallen in love with Cameroon Republic have a right to remain there. The interim government would not force you to leave. After we finally part ways, for that is the only way, and we will get it. Cameroon, by declaring war on Ambazonia after years of abuses and exploitation, deprived herself of the right to have a say over us. They brought divorce in concubinage. Tassan Wilfred adds that this is meant to cause confusion, turn backwary, and give the few surviving CPDM-powered, gullible coastal people against the struggle. Yet, God saw Ayaba miles off and caused the people to give him a deaf ear. How secured is his Bamenda, by the way? Rogue slogans, speeches, declarations, empty talk, of course. You know them by the three they fell from. Paul Biya, CPDM by night, pretentious opponents by day.
You know, that's how the kingdom of darkness operates. Yet, they end up getting exposed when light is beamed on them. Sidney John Frundi, the man can't hide anymore. The secret waters of yesterday are now exposed all over social media. Yesterday's muffled speeches are now clearly pronounced against those he claimed to stand for without pretense. Joe Ayaba, because of guilt, uses the anti-revolutionary tabloid, the Garden Post newspaper, which has sold its conscience to the oppressors, La République du Cameroon, because of blood money, to announce his evil scheme to destroy the struggle. Is it not sad that birds of the same feathers flock together?
On a positive count, another tabloid which speaks for the oppressed, the Chronicle Times, showcases Joe Ayaba's evil machinations and a catalogue of failures confirming the biblical truth. By their fruits we shall know them. 1. They stated the block by block which failed 2. The Enchant shoes that failed as well. 3. Pache that failed. 4. Contender Force that failed. 5. Selling bonds, which failed as well. 6. Selling pins that failed. 7. Tough that failed. And 8. Electricity cut that also failed. This is the Judas Iscariot, the devil incarnate Ambazonians must ignore. Ambazonians were not very wise at the beginning, but now no dog can try to deceive them anymore. This empty propaganda is aiming at the war draft money. Even Yaoundé will with all its repressive forces and arrogance that resorted to the use of disproportionate force which degenerated into a genocidal war, are leaking their ruins today. La République du Cameroon confesses that they have done everything humanly possible to destroy the struggle, but everything has failed. Let me join others to say, #Ambazonia is free. It is a hard fact to accept that people in a supposed one nation are treated differently. If in a house children are treated as such, either one of the children is having another mother or father from the other children, that would be the case. Or the particular child discriminated upon is mature enough to leave the house and be independent. Can a mother treat her child with hatred? Or is that the child not the biological child of the woman in question? This can simply be justified by the fact that Southern Cameroon is not part and parcel of La République du Cameroun.
The Undaunted, in the quest to inform, educate, and entertain, have uncovered the disparity in the price of cooking gas in what is obtained in Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroun. A cylinder of 12 kg cooking gas is sold for 8,000 francs CFA. The same cylinder of gas is sold in a neighboring town, Mboda, in La République du Cameroun, to Midland Region Center at 6,500 francs CFA. Now, the distance between these two localities can be calculated in terms of transport fare to be 1,000 francs CFA, equivalent to $2. With a short distance between Center in Southern Cameroon and border in La République du Cameroun, we have a 2,000 francs CFA, that is equivalent $4, different in price of cooking gas. The punishment La République du Cameroun is putting on the people of Southern Cameroon is unbearable, and separation is just the way forward.
Now moving on to this marginalization, it has always been a scheme of the colonial Cameroon government to subject the people of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia to inhuman treatment. If it is not true, how do we explain the fact that in all the Savannah region there is no football field? Worse still, clubs from this region are expected by the colonial football government body of the dictator Biya's regime to compete with clubs in La République du Cameroun who train and play on FIFA-approved pitches. This is rather inconsiderate and insulting. Sometimes I wonder, what is the offense of being born an Ambazonia? Why is it the resources claimed in a country to be one and indivisible by the La République du Cameroun are unevenly distributed? Ambazonians are always left with nothing. Is it high time the people of Ambazonia take charge of the management of their affairs and shoulder development from the hands of the oppressor La République du Cameroun?
The football club to represent represents the Savannah region of Ambazonia in a football tournament with clubs of the Equatorial region and La Republic of Cameroon is Hilltop Strikers. Hilltop Strikers picked this ticket after defeating Rainbow FC on Sunday, July 10, 2022 in Bamenda. And Bamenda, of course, is the chief town of the Savannah region of Ambazonia. The nature of the pitch that hosted this final was nothing to be desired of. Both clubs could not develop good football as the pitch was flooded. At halftime, football lovers attempted remedying the situation by using buckets and rags to free the pitch of standing water. Can you even imagine that? The Savannah region of Ambazonia, of course, are blessed with talent in football, yet they are not given the opportunity to better manifest their talent. The Savannah region of Ambazonia is proud of 6 elite clubs, yet can boast of a single football field. The remedy approach the footballers used on the pitch eventually worked, but it was a pathetic sight to see. Just watch the video. One would wonder the kind of energy the footballers would have after scooping water from the field before playing. I mean, it's going to be major tasking from them. Well, it's just too sad.
I mean, after using half the energy, if not all of their energy, getting that much water out of the pitch, if that could be classified as a pitch, what energy would be left for them to, I mean, compete and play or even have the will to win? It is just sad and pathetic to watch that video. It really is sad.
All right, I'm sure that a whole lot of you are also wondering how that match ended. Well, we'll find out the figures at the end of the show today. But before we continue, we have the chairman, coordinator of Mezam County, Chairman Teofosi. He's here. Today we'll discuss a lot on the reason why we shouldn't have that kind of pitch anywhere around Ambazonia. All right. You're welcome to Undaunted News this evening. Good day, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to share the podium with you guys. I must appreciate the marvelous job you guys are doing. Keep it up.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. You're welcome once again. All right, so we talked about a lot. I think we should start with the police extortion. You have where graduates do not have jobs. This was our first story for tonight. You have where graduates do not have jobs, and then eventually they get something for themselves, which is not even something to write home about. And then you find where the police is extorting money from them. I mean, this has to stop, and it has to stop. You and I would have to do something to ensure that stops. So what do you have to say about that, Chairman Theo?
Absolutely. It's a pathetic situation, and I think this has been going on for God knows how long. But the situation has just skyrocketed recently with our struggle, and I think the government or this, I will call them a band of irresponsible brats, because they are doing everything to continue to antagonize us. They are doing everything to inflict pain and suffering on our people, and targeting these university graduates and fellow brothers who've been, I mean, trying to do everything to earn a living, and they grab the little that they can earn is just to tell the people of Ambazonia, the people of British Southern Cameroon, exactly that we are dealing with a very, very uh, diabolic regime, and very, very, I mean, how do I, for lack of a better word, we're just devils in disguise. You know, someone who's doing everything to feed family, and the only thing you can do is to seize, to use the uniform that you have to intimidate and seize what they have, I mean, earned. What does that tell of you as a person? What does that tell of the regime? What does that tell of a man in uniform? You know, this has been going on for a long, long time. And it is just skyrocketing right now just because they want to continue to pain on us. But I will tell the bike riders that they form a very, very vital role in our society, and their pain is being seen by Amazonians. We know what they are going through. We know the suffering. And I think the regime cannot just go like that. And the only thing they can do is to stand behind this struggle so that they get to Boya. And then, you know, they will have a better life, because what they are doing, they cannot even earn money to feed a family for a whole day. And then the police is there to seize it. You know, so it's again, it is hitting them back in the face. They better stand up and fight and do everything to get to Boya in, I mean, in due time, because it's not going to end. It's not going to end today. It's not going to end tomorrow if we don't, as youth, and fight for our independence. The suffering will even be terrible if they don't fight. If they think, oh, they're going to just continue to yield to this intimidation, I don't know how to put it. But again, it will just be someone without brains to think after this, they're going to get a better life. It's going to be terrible. So they better stand up. They better and their future and the future of their children that they are fighting now and they cannot even feed. You know, so again, we really have to fight, and this goes back to draft. We have to draft. We really have to draft to see how we could, you know, continue to prosecute this struggle in every way we can.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Chairman Banji Tita, for that contribution there. It's very much valued. To Chairman Teofasi.
That was Chairman
Thank you
Teofasi
so
who
much.
just
Yes,
spoke.
okay. It's nice
all
having
right.
you here for the first time. It's nice having you here for the first time. To
Thank you.
Chairman Banji Tita. We're gonna have a call from him. We're gonna have him connected on call right now. So I throw this question at him because looking at the whole scenario there, and like Chairman Theo Fosi said, it is really important that we draft so we can, because the drafting is to equip Ambazonia, we have what it takes to be independent. And like we read in the news, what is happening, it is like a mom or a child being maltreated, staying in a house where you're not given what you need, you're not given clothes, you're not given underwear, you're not given food, you're not given nothing, and you're in a house with other children and you get to see them enjoy these things. We just read a news on gas prices, and we saw that in some parts of Cameroon it is made cheaper, and then some other parts of Ambazonia it is not made so, and they claim to have a one and indivisible Cameroon. It's not working that way. It's the marginalization. It's just too obvious for Ambazonia to still stay in this house, to still stay under one and indivisible Cameroon. And that is why the draft, it is so necessary. I'd like to have the chairman Tita right now to say something in regards to the video we just played and this whole marginalization to Ambazonia. What is the way forward? What do you think of the draft?
Well, thank you for having me. I want to recognize Chairman Fusi and for the work he's been doing in Mezam. Obviously, we are seeing the footprint of an oppressive regime, and this is what we have been living for over 60 years, and that is why we are here today. I think that we have obviously decided to put a stop to this and to fight for a better future for the future generation of the children of Southern Cameroon and Ambazonia. So we are here because of the oppression that our parents, our great-grandparents have suffered over the years, and it got to a point where we just cannot fathom it and take it anymore. And now we decided that this is going to stop now. This generation, that's why we call this generation the never again generation, because it is now or never. And I think the message has been passed across to La Republique. They know now that it is not easy going to the 6th year in this conflict, and despite all the best efforts, despite all the atrocities, the genocide, the burning of our homes and villages, people are still resilient, and the message is very loud and clear that we want to resist to the final end, and that is why we need to come out. And the Award 22 draft is kicking off in Mezam this Saturday, July the 16th, and it is our civic duty as people from the south of Amazonia who live in the diaspora to come and show solidarity with our people, our suffering people in the southern Cameroon. So we need to come out and definitely in our numbers and register our support by drafting on Saturday for Mezam and also for my LGA of Balinyonga LGA. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Chairman Tita. Onyi, do you have any other questions?
Yes, for Chairman Coordinator of Mezam County, let me come back to you. Let's talk a little more about Cho Ayaba. Now, from our reports this evening, we stated clearly, because we have seen and observed that Cho Ayaba does not believe in free Ambazonia. I mean, he says the notion of Ambazonia is abstract. I mean, we're wondering and asking, what exactly does he want? I mean, if he doesn't believe in Ambazonia, isn't it possible for him to stay calm? I would want you to say something about this, because, I mean, we have a lot of things highlighted here. We also said that his ADF has specialized in killing Ambazonian civilians and Ambazonian fighters. I mean, Cho Ayaba has not achieved anything for Ambazonia for over 32 years, but has created more confusion instead. I mean, I'm sure you want to say something about that.
Uh, Definitely to say something, but we also will have to understand that the struggle has brought forth a lot of how do I put it? I mean, a lot of different ideologies and frontline leaders have come and some have gone and some there and they have their ideologies. They have what they perceive uh, Ambazonia. It is sometimes very difficult to actually explain what is actually going on in the struggle when you say you are for you're fighting for the people of Ambazonia and then you tend to do the other thing or to do the reverse of what you preach. Now, for not quite a person that I like calling names because I believe so much in the quest for our total and independence. It's my personal stand that I would not like to be calling names. But the thing is, this struggle is for Ambazonians, is for the British Southern Cameroonians, and those who believe that we actually have to fight for our total freedom and liberation. They are doing the work. They are doing what they are supposed to do. And any other person who is doing something different from this simple time will have to catch you. I mean, time will catch you because, you know, lies and evil can never triumph over truth and justice. So no matter what they are doing, the ADF or Dr. Chua Yaba or whoever is doing it, even if you belong to this term that we stand so strong, if you are doing something that is not, that is against the people of Ambassador, it's going to turn back on you and it's going to be really, really hard. So what I would say about this is this is a God ordained struggle, and no matter what you, no matter what we do in our individual space, the truth shall prevail. And the truth is simple: it's we are fighting for the freedom of people of British Southern Cameroons, and truth will prevail.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, Chairman, Coordinator Mezam, I would have to cut in there. Now, don't you think that his divide and rule strategy is weakening the system?
yes, I would say his strategy might be weakening the system. But again, those who are steadfast and those who know exactly what they are fighting for, they will persist, they will remain resolute, and they are, because they are determined. I count myself for one, I count the people of Mezam for one. We are determined to fight this fight right to the end, to the last man standing. So he might be doing what he thinks his way to actually out for this struggle. It's not going to sway them because in limited time, going to realize that the true cause of this revolution is to fight it the way we've been fighting, not any other way. It's not about killing other fighters. It's not about screwing out, I mean, lies. All that will not work. It will not work. I think those who actually out for this war continue to fight, and they will fight fervently.
Indeed. All right, thank you for your beautiful contribution there. So it's good to have everyone's perspective on this. But moving forward, you know, the draft season, it's really fast approaching. And as the coordinator of a very big county, Mezam, what is your preparedness? What's the preparedness of your team, your cadre, ahead of Saturday's big debut?
Thank you for that question. Mezam has always done great things as far as this struggle is concerned. I think we have done marvelous job before all the other drafts will come out like top, and the people of Mezam know exactly what this job is all about. Irrespective of what has been happening in the struggle recently, but they are still, I mean, totally committed, and all the LGAs, the 7 Ls and the Chiefs, they have been working tirelessly to see that this draft comes out a resounding success. Uh, we know people got caught up with quagmire that we recently had, but I think everything has been healed with time. People have come out from that slumber, and they know exactly that this time it is draft like you've never drafted before, because this struggle, Mezam, Mezam has a very, very important role to play in the struggle of Amazonia and the struggle for our total liberation. And I think we've done everything possible to make sure that the right thing to do is to draft, and to draft heavily, because we actually need to support who have stood strong for us. We need to take care of our internally displaced and those who are in Nigeria and other neighboring countries. We need to take care of, those who are in dire need for help. So drafting for Mezam, I think, is a responsibility. It's a civil responsibility for all Mezamites, and I think they are actually galvanizing powerfully to give this draft a resounding success.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Coordinator Mezam County. We'll definitely come back to you. Please hold on. We have some reports concerning the draft. So when we come back to you, we'll definitely talk at length the things to consider and expectations and more in the forthcoming draft.
Okay.
Let us all draft, and draft. Ambazonia history makers will be aware that my trip to Boya was our first ever national fund drive designed to fund our resistance to the French-Cameroon genocide war on our people. In April 2020, your Commander-in-Chief, Dr. Samuel Mesako, launched the first Ambazonia War Draft, aka award. The second edition was last year, and the results are still fresh in our minds. Award 22 marks the third edition with a slight modification in terms of the amount that can be drafted as follows. A minimum amount can earn a draft certificate at $1,000. B, pensioners, to be decided by the local government area, county, and C, sympathizers and well-wishers, any affordable amount.
Now, why draft? For over 60 years, the people of the former British Southern Cameroon, also known as Ambazonia, have been deprived of the right to freely express themselves and have been oppressed by their neighbors, La République du Cameroun. Regrettably, the oppression has transformed into a genocide, engineered and sponsored by France. For over 5 years, some former British Southern Cameroonians volunteered to tell our story accurately and organize resistance to counter the genocide with the goal to restore our independence. We are all aware of the Ukraine war due to the illegal invasion by Russia. We all see how Ukrainians have all risen like one man to defend their territory. They have instituted their war draft, which means everyone of 18 to 60 years of age must not leave the country and is compelled to take an active part in the defense of their country against the occupying forces of Russia. This is the same patriotic task that we expect from all Southern Cameroonians in fulfilling our sacred duty of defending and freeing our motherland from the genocidal grip of French Cameroon's occupation forces. Thousands of our young men and women have risen to the challenge and fighting to the death. We have lost thousands with many more injured. There are thousands in the forest fighting day and night to resist the occupier.
It is therefore imperative and no longer a favor for those of us in the diaspora that are not confronting the enemy on the ground play our own part by drafting to raise a fund to care for the injured and provide the logistics needed by the defense volunteers. Southern Cameroonians in the diaspora have a great patriotic sacred duty to oneself, family, and nation to sacrifice. We must show to the rest of the world that we are ready to defend our motherland. Fellow Southern Cameroonians, join your local government area and draft any amount as a duty.
roads leading to Mezam County drafts this Saturday, July 16, 2022. Mezam County needs you. The importance of starting the draft in Mezam County cannot be overemphasized. Mezam County, with the headquarters being Bamenda, is without any gainsay the heartbeat of Ambazonia, especially when it comes to geopolitics. Bamenda, it is said in La Republique du Cameroon, is the only town that slides in the dry season, a no-nonsense town that does not entertain any trash or rubbish. From the politics of the John Ngufonches, the Juas down to the Fruitendis in the 1990s, Bamenda has been spitting fire and dictating the pace to the Banana Republic.
This has been so spontaneous. The name Bamenda has become even synonymous or the epitome of every Ambazonian from the Savannah, the Midlands till the Atlantic. In the early 1990s, when salaries of civil servants were cut in La Republique du Cameroon, even Francophones in Yaoundé vow that Bamenda will not accept it. This is true because Bamenda people know their rights and will not want anybody to trample on them. Those living with the Francophones will agree with this reporter that the name Bamenda to them represents every English-speaking Cameroonian. In Yaoundé, when you tell a Francophone that you are from Kumba, he or she will exclaim, "Oh, Bamenda, you are powerful." The IG, through its most resilient strategist, President Samuel Ikamesako, thought it very wise to start the draft from this powerful end, and we give God the glory.
You know, yesterday we gave you the description of Mezam County. We told you a little about it, and we got to be educated, more educated on Mezam County, that there is no Bamenda 1, 2, or 3. Today again, I'd like to do the same thing. In Mezam County, it covers about an area of 1,745 kilometers square, and as of 2005, today had a total population of 524,127 people in Bamenda. Also known as Abakwa and Mankon Town, is the capital of the Midlands with a population of about 500,000 people. Mezam County has the following local government areas. The interim government is by this launching a fervent appeal to all the sons and daughters in laws of the following local government and neighboring La Republique and neighboring local government areas to come out en masse with their friends and well-wishers to draft in a way that reflects the metropolitan county, Mezam. These are the local government areas: Mankom Bachungwa local government area, Nkwenza local government area, Bamenda Nkwen local government area, Santa local government area, Bali local government area, Bafut local government area, Tuba local government area, Babanki local government area.
All right, so of course the award is coming, and we have departmental rota and tentative dates. We have Mezam, Almighty Mezam, coming up this Saturday, 16th July. We have Man Youth, 23rd July, FACO FCT, 30th July, Boyo 6th August, Lebelem 13th August, DMC 20th August, Ngoken Tujer 27th August, KMC 3rd September, Bui 10th October, Meme 17th September, Momo 24th September, Ngyan 8th October, Menchum 15th October, ABC TV, you should come and draft us, 22nd of October, HSS 29th October, DFA 5th of November. Of course, you know Almighty SOS, Nijo signed this particular draft rotation that we just gave you. This particular section would not be complete if we do not have the thoughts, the opinion, and the view of Niger, and I'm sure he's here with us. All right, seems like we lost that connection with Niger. All right, let's have the coordinator, Mezam County again, since we are drafting in his county. Let's have them again. All right, thank you so much, Coordinator Theo. Thank you so much for standing by. I mean, we are coming to your county this Saturday. What are your expectations?
To be quite honest with you, my expectations are very high because Mezam, the great Mezam, uh, want to maintain their greatness. And that greatness can only be manifested with our civil duty, and that means drafting like you've never drafted before. I can assure the people of Mezam that we are ready, we are prepared, and we're gonna do everything. We are ready to do everything to give them the results that they have been yearning for. And by that I mean we have some people who are still citizens. They still think they don't need to draft. They don't need to. I mean, increase the momentum that we have in home front, and they still think we don't. They don't need to help those who are actually in dire need of our help. They still think because they are not back in Amazonia, they still think because they don't have families in Amazonia. But we are all a family, we are a unit. And if we try to inculcate the spirit of Ubuntu, we will actually go out there in our numbers and draft because Mezam is bleeding. And the only way to stop that bleeding is by drafting and using the draft forms judiciously. And I can assure you guys that we have a better organism right now to handle everything the draft will produce. And I know that you have our track record. You have track records, and sons and daughters of Mezam know exactly what we've been doing. And I believe that they will redouble their efforts and dip their hands deep in their pockets this time uh, to row again, to make Mezam row as we've over row, so that we can prove to the people of Ambazonia that actually Bamenda Mezam is that place that you don't play with. Mezam is the beacon, and Mezam will remain great. The struggle for freedom, the struggle for our total and unconditional liberation actually lies in the powers of our pockets, the powers of our giving, and not giving with, with a heart, not giving half-heartedly, but giving fully. That you are actually fighting for your own liberation. You're fighting for your children and your children's children. Again, I must reiterate on the point that if we don't have our independence, we are doomed because La Republic will not find any iota of pity in their hearts to stay with us. Uh, you know, Sometimes it becomes very emotional because we've all gone through the pain that La Republic has given us, and to stand here and think we're gonna continue with this unholy marriage that we had with them, you can only be thinking of a worst case scenario than hell. So drafting should be something that every Ambazonia, every Mezamite should consider a huge sacrifice, because you're not only sacrificing for yourself, but you're sacrificing for
Indeed.
the next generation.
Indeed.
The suffering, the pain is just too much. It's unimaginable, it's unexplainable. So the only way we can get out of this pain and suffering is by drafting and putting that draft into total use so that we can get our liberation, we can get our independence in record time. So I'm calling on the Mezamites, I'm calling on everybody from Mezam, I'm calling on all sympathizers from Faranye, the other counties. I'm calling upon you guys to come to draft heavily so that we can all march to Boya. And one day, not far from now, we shall all rejoice when we are hosting the flag in Manfago.
All right. Thank you so much, Chair Theo Fosi. Thank you so much for your contributions. Earlier, you heard
Yeah,
him
well,
beat his chest and said Mezam has been counting all this while, and now he is also encouraging Mezam to continue drafting because it is not just for you but also for your generations to come. This applies not just to Mezam but to every other county. You've heard it all from the chair of Mezam County, the coordinator of Mezam County. That will be all for now. It is a pleasure having you here with us for the first time. I'm correct. It is a pleasure having you here with us today, and we hope to have you some other time. Thank you for your contributions, your encouraging words to Mezam and every other county. We would like to let you go for today.
Of course, if you're just joining us, well, you've come to the tail end of the Undaunted News tonight. But do not worry, you have a whole lot to catch up because Dr. Mungwer is coming up in a jiffy, and he will be talking about secret meetings with the enemy, the case of Sitiku Ayuktabe, Cho Ayaba, Akwanga, and Chris Anus. All right, so just hold on for his weekly liberation briefings. Dr. Martin Mungwer is coming up. And with that report, we have come to the end of Undaunted tonight. But before we go, here is a recap of our major stories.
Cho Ayaba warlord, moneymonger, killer, destroyer, ransom collector has shown his limitations so far as this liberation quest is concerned. We brought to you the reports of police extorting from southern Cameroonian bikers working in La Republique du Cameroon. A report of Ambazonians paying higher for cooking gas more than La Republique du Cameroon is an untold story we looked at today. Major football finalists representing Ambazonians plays football in mud.
Dr. Mungwer's Liberation Weekly briefings comes up at exactly 9 p.m. Amba time. Today's topic is secret meetings with the enemy, the case of Sisiku Ayuktabe, Cho Ayaba, Akwanga, and Chris Anu. Ceremonious leadership, the case of foreign muketes coming to America. And most importantly, our road leads to Mezam County draft this Saturday, July 16, 2022. We discussed why Mezam County needs you. And that was it for tonight's Undaunted, bringing to the news Untold Stories. On behalf of my co-anchor Smart and the entire Undaunted crew, we say thank you for tuning in. I am Oni Opmala.
We'll leave you with ABC Amba TV images. Good night and God bless you.